I feel compelled to make a video about people in my area here in Kingwood Township, outside of Frenchtown, Baptist Town area. This area right here. Not everyone is like this, but it's getting worse and worse as the urban sprawl takes over, and it's just disgusting. So I'll tell you what happened. It was pretty simple. My John Deere mower is very sensitive. When you put it into park, it parks the machine, and if you turn the steering wheel, it'll shut it down. So, and I mean, if you turn that steering wheel just a little minute amount, little tiny amount, it'll just shut the machine down, and then it'll store information, bells and whistles and all kinds of crazy things will go off, and it takes time for it to shut down completely and then reboot. You have to hit the screen. Anyway, I pull up to the light here in Baptist Town in Kingwood Township, New Jersey, and I don't know, I pull up to the light and I pull the throttle, I hit the throttle so that it idles back because the light had just turned red when I got up to it, and I put it in park, and I sat there, and I thought, well, I'm getting ready to push the button to speed the engine back up to full throttle, and because it's all on buttons, it's like idle, medium, and then high. And I looked at the light as it was turning red over on the other side, and I accidentally turned the steering wheel, and I mean just about that much, just a little bit, and of course the machine dies in the road. I'm like, damn. So I know people in my area have just become such impatient assholes when it comes to farm equipment. They just can't. Well, let's put it this way. They moved to the country, but they hate the fact that there's farmers here, And I'm not the only farmer here. There's several. Some are good and some are not so good, but, it is what it is. But anyhow, I'm stuck. And you got to turn the key off, and then you got to wait for this thing to do its computer thing. It's not like the old-fashioned stuff. You just turn the key back on when it stalls. So I'm waiting for that, and pretty soon the horns start blowing. Now there's 4 cars behind this thing, and I understand that I'm stuck, and the light is green, and I'm not going, but obviously the engine is shut down. I mean, it's shut off. So I got it to shut down completely, but then when you turn the key back on, you got to wait for the bar to come back up, or it won't move anyway. So it's just a patience thing. So the light does its cycle. It's turned yellow as I finally get the thing to start up, and I can't go, and the horns are blowing, and pretty soon a pickup truck, a red pickup truck with a man and a woman in it, they jet into the parking lot of the corner store in the town, and then the other 3 cars behind that do the same thing. Well, the pickup truck made a right back onto Route 12 so it could make a left to go, down 519. If I hadn't been blocking the roadway, they would have just went straight across, which whatever. I'm sorry. I apologize for the inconvenience. But they wouldn't wait for the next light cycle, obviously. All of them were in too big a hurry. But when the pickup truck goes by, they stop in the road to look at me and give me the what the fuck, this. And I don't, we all got to make a living in this world. And I don't go to your office and go up to your boss and say, hey, what the fuck, you got that guy working for you? Or what the fuck, you dropped your pencil on the floor? There's just stuff like that really gets to me. And if there's anybody from Kingwood that's watching this thing, we used to be a community of people that would help one another if there was a problem. If this had happened like 25 years ago or even 30 years ago, well, 30 years ago, I could guarantee you it would happen. If it happened, somebody would have got out of their car, walked up to the machine and said, hey, Wes, is there a problem? Or, hey, do you need any help? Not, what the fuck? You know, like, I ruined your afternoon because you had to wait for a light to change its cycle. It's really sad. I mean, I've got neighbors that would laugh at you if you got hurt, let alone, you know, instead of saying, oh my God, is there anything I could do to help you? And it's kind of disgusting. So as urban sprawl takes over my area, really, you know, I never thought that I'd want to leave my area, you know, leave where I was raised and grew up. But, you know, and I don't think that I will at this point in my life. But, you know, if people can't just be helpful, mindful, courteous people, then, you know, what's the point in living in a place where they hate you because you drive machines down the road? Or what's the point in living in a place where they give you the finger because you had a problem with your machine? Well, I'm sorry I had the problem with the machine, but, you know, sometimes these things are out of my control. And, you know, maybe you've never had a problem, or maybe you've never lived in an area where people actually care about you. And, you know, whether they know you or not, but they care what happens to you, if, you know, or with you, enough that they'd stop and, you know, say, hey, is there anything I could do? I mean, I would just open the door and say, nah, it's a computer, just give me a minute and I'll be on my way. And that's all that it would have been. But, you know, I just don't get it. I mean, if something happens and say my phone is broke, I mean, 30 years ago, if I was walking down the road and I was dirty, you know, and somebody came by, whether I was just walking down the road or whether I had a problem or not, they'd roll down their window and say, hey, is everything okay? Do you need a ride somewhere? Or, hey, do you need to use a phone? I only live right down the road, because that was pre-cell phones. Now, if you're walking down the road, I mean, you could have your arm severed and be squirting blood all over the pavement, and the people would lock your doors, that guy's a murderer, or lock your doors, or turn away, don't look at him, because if you do, then he'll know that that we saw him hurt, and he'll sue us for not helping, because nobody in this area really gives a shit anymore. You know, they just don't. The other day, there was a guy broke down on Route 95, and he had jumper cables. He was a black fella, and, you know, I'm in a semi. I can't hardly just pull off the road and help him out, but he had the jumper cables, and he was holding his hands up like this. And, you know, nobody stops. And, you know, I guess it is a dangerous highway and everything. But if somebody was in my area, and even if I had a tractor and somebody had jumper cables and they were holding it up like this, I'd help them. I mean, that's just the way I am. I'd help them. Flat tires, I couldn't tell you how many flat tires I've changed for people, you know, along the road. And just men or women, you know. I think it's pretty pathetic if a man can't change his own tire. You know, that's just me. And it is pathetic if a man can't change his tire. And when I was a kid, if a woman couldn't change her tire, it just meant, why didn't you learn how to change your tire before you started to drive a car? But today, it's like a woman isn't, how dare I might break my Louis Vuitton nails. And but whatever, you know. If you're from Kingwood or my area and you're watching this video and you were the one that did this or whatever the hell, I'm pretty sure you did that. I mean, I'm almost 99.99% sure you gave me the finger. You know, you're an asshole, and you move back to whatever town you came from, because you're really not welcome here. You know, because this is not my Kingwood. I mean, this is supposed to be a friendly place, and it always was. And now it's just like, I don't know, it's shit. And it's not shit because of the area. It's shit because of the people that moved into the area. And, you know, it's really sad. I used to go down the road and people would wave like this, hi, you know, or you know, something friendly. Now, I'm not saying every person, you know, it's not 1950, you know, but now it's, if I block the road too long, they'll pull around me, slam on their brakes, and try to hit me. Timothy had all kinds of trouble this year. Dad did. I don't seem to get that because, you know what? I don't give a flying fuck. I'm the guy that pays the insurance bill. I'll run you the hell over. You pull in front of me and jam on your brakes, buddy, I got 25 tons of steel that would be more than happy to crush your little tin can you call a car. I'm okay with that. It's all right. Because you know what? You're the one. If you survive it, you're the one that's going to have to explain to the cop, oh, he ran me over. Well, how did a tractor that goes 25 mile an hour catch up to you to run you over? You know, I mean, my story's going to be, well, he pulled around and, you know, jammed on his brakes and bam, that's what happened. His story will be, he ran me over. I don't know why. Well, you know what? There was a bit of road rage here just 2 weeks ago when I was making little bales of hay. You know, this guy cuts my son off, stops him in the middle of the road, and threatens him in the middle of the road. It didn't help that he gave him the finger for being an asshole. I mean, he goes zooming up alongside of him, and then a car's coming and forces him in, tries to force him in, you know, force him off the road. I mean, these people are just nuts. So, anyways, I know there's a lot of people from Kingwood that watch this channel, and for God's sakes, if you see a tractor or a truck with a load of hay or anything like that, equipment, any kind of equipment, I don't care if it's a township's equipment, my equipment, whoever's equipment, be courteous. We have a place to be. We want to go home too. You know, we're not like such assholes that we don't want to go home. We want to go home too. And we want to go home safely. So, anyway, with that being said, yeah. Thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe.